Hey there, welcome back to another video. This time around, it is my rant on the 2019 direct-to-video shit pile that is Escape Plan 3, The Extractors. Now, before I get around to massacring this movie, I want to give a shout out to Jack for requesting this review. If there is a film, a TV show, a topic that you would like to see me cover in the future, feel free to donate to my PayPal. The link will be in the video description down below. Now, Escape Plan 3, The Extractors, is the third and hopefully final film in the Escape Plan franchise. A franchise that nobody fucking asked for to begin with, especially if we're talking about films that barely even star Stallone and don't even feature Schwarzenegger in any capacity. The major selling point of Escape Plan was the fact that it was Stallone and Schwarzenegger side by side for the first time ever. Not having Schwarzenegger and just Stallone sleepwalking and stumbling and half-assing his way through the production is not a positive. It's not a plus. In fact, it's more of a negative because you're watching such a legendary, iconic actor waste his fucking time that he doesn't have that much of left on such trash. So I will say this, Escape Plan 3 is not quite as bad as Escape Plan 2. Like, that's a special kind of shitty, but this is still pretty fucking awful. And you would think would be beneath Stallone. I mean, I gotta be honest, I think this trifecta of Escape Plan 2, 3, and Backtrace is honestly the lowest point in Stallone's career to date. Because say what you want about Driven or Avenging Angelo, at least he's trying in those films. At least he's trying to deliver a semi-competent performance. And yeah, he was sleepwalking in other movies like Grudge Match, some of these other films that he's done as of late. And yeah, he was embarrassing himself quite a bit in stuff like Rhinestone or Stop 'em or Mom Will Shoot or fucking Spy Kids 3D. But even in that instance, it seemed like he was having some fun. Like, as bad as Spy Kids 3D is, you could tell that Stallone was kind of having some fun, even though it was a bad performance and was a bad movie. Same thing for Rhinestone or Stop 'em or Mom Will Shoot. But here, he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care. And he's just collecting a paycheck. And I'm like, why? What the fuck happened, Sly? Seriously, what's going on with you financially, man? I thought you were stable. By all intents and purposes, from what I've been seeing, it seems like he is. So, why are you subjecting yourself to such career, not necessarily suicide, but damaging behavior? Why are you subjecting yourself to such career damaging bullshit like these Escape Plan sequels? Like, if you needed the money, that's fine. Shit happens. Maybe he made a bad deal with real estate. Maybe he gambled a little too much cash at the casino. Whatever. I would appreciate the honesty, to be honest, if Stallone just flat out said, I need the money. I made some bad investments recently and some bad deals. It was a quick million or two, and I needed that just to make up for that. And I'd be like, all right, fine. These movies suck, but hey, if it helped you out, cool. But if it's just so you can keep working or just so you could make more money, that's just lame to me. Have some higher fucking standards, Stallone. Seriously. Unless you want to be like Bruce Willis, who's shooting like 2 movies back to back nowadays just so he can collect a quick million. Or Steven Seagal. I never thought that I would ever see a point in Stallone's career where he would do this kind of shit. I thought that he would have too much pride and too much and standards would be too high. But apparently that's not the fucking case. It wasn't the case for Schwarzenegger either, because he was in shit like Killing Gunther. So the film was directed by John Herzfeld, who actually has done some decent films in the past. He did 2 Days in the Valley, 15 Minutes, but before this he did Reach Me, and it seems like he got this job because he's a working acquaintance or a friend from work when it comes to Stallone, because he directed the documentary about the making of the Expendables. So it seems like Stallone and this guy have a good relationship. So it was probably a favor. That being said, it seemed like he lost all of his fucking drive and all of his fucking talent over the years, because the directing, it's not dynamic. It's not fresh. It doesn't have any real impact when it comes to the action sequences. It's a very lifeless, flat-looking film. And speaking of the action sequences, so many of the few action sequences in this movie are just really lame shootouts or shitty fights featuring actors who can't fight. And the direction is so bad at times that it just makes it even more obvious that these actors can't fucking fight. Like, how bad of a director are you that you can't even cover up the fact that these guys can't fucking fight? And then on top of that, for some reason, over half the movie looks like some guy took a massive piss all over the camera lens. What is up with this trend of movies with cinematography or filters that look like somebody just pissed all over the camera? It's not appealing. It's not interesting. It doesn't add anything to any of the movies that I've seen it used in. Stop with the piss filters. Who is the audience for this? Who's like, yes, piss in my face? But you know what? It's fitting. It's fitting that this movie has so much piss yellow camera work in it, because it reeks of piss, and it's so bad that it pisses you off. So the film features a screenplay by 2 writers, one of which is also the director, John Herzfeld. So you have John Herzfeld and Miles Chapman. So John is a dual offender here, because he's also partly responsible for this shitty, god-awful script that doesn't do dick to get you invested in the story or the characters. So it takes place after the events of Escape Plan 2, and the son of the character who was played by Vincent D'Onofrio in the first movie, Lester Clark Jr., he's the main villain in this film, and he wants revenge on Ray Breslin because he killed his father. And just like Escape Plan 2, half this movie is just pandering to the Asian audience. It's not even subtle about it either. Like, if you started this movie up and you did not know that Stallone was in this, and you did not know that this was an Escape Plan sequel, you would never think that it had anything to do with Escape Plan, because the moment it starts, it's Starts out in some factory in Ohio with a couple Asian business characters. This Asian chick who I guess is there because it's her father's company, and her name is Daya, and I don't give a fuck if she dies. I really don't. I mean, this whole movie, I am honestly feeling like Ivan Drago about every single character in this film, including Stallone's character. If he dies, he dies. If they die, they die. I'm like, yeah, I don't fucking care. Oh, and that's not what you want out of any film. You never want the audience to feel that indifferent over the fate of your characters. So you start out with this really boring nonsense with this fucking business deal in a warehouse, and then they try to throw in some action, but once again, these people can't fucking fight, so you got quick cam. I don't know what the fuck quick cam is. Uh, Shaky cam, quick cuts, and all of that stuff, all the tricks of the trade to try to cover up the fact that people can't fight, but it's done so incompetently that it just does the opposite. And they leave me. There's a big brouhaha, big bunch of fisticuffs and kicks, and who gives a fuck, and they leave behind a USB flash drive with Ray Breslin's name on it. And then you have other characters that return from the last movie. Jamie King, who's a love interest of Breslin. And there's a scene later on where she fucking dies, and it's supposed to be emotional, and you never care. There's never one moment where you're like, oh my god, that's sad. That's tragic. You're just like, oh, whatever. Never really gave a shit about that fucking chick anyway. And then you just look back at your watch or your phone to see how much time you have left before this movie's over. Uh, so yeah, there's this whole thing about this group of Asians. So you have this Asian bodyguard, this bodyguard character who has no charisma, no personality. Um, he has all the screen presence of a fucking puddle. So you got, I think, yeah, it's Max Zhang, who plays Shen Lo. And then you have, actually, no, that's a different guy. Because then you have the head of security, which is Harry Shum Jr. Yeah, Max Zhang is this other guy. He's the love interest for Daya. And he looks like he's a member of a K-pop band. I gotta be fucking honest. And he fights like one too. And then you have Harry Shum Jr. He's the security guard. So you have Shenlo and Bao Young, and you've got Daya played by Malese Jow, and like there are a bunch of scenes too where they speak in, I think, Chinese or some Asian language. I'm not 100% sure. I don't want to say it's 100% Chinese because I could be wrong. And it's just clearly there for the Asian audience. Because this movie was, I think, co-financed by Asian investors, and I think might have been released in Asia in theaters. So it's just one of those things like, can you be subtle about it? Nope. Because it's like the movie just stops. The plot with Stallone that actually ties into Escape Plan to provide this other plot with the Asian cast, and it's awful. And it's and I'm not saying the stuff with Stallone is any good either. It sucks too. But at least it has something to do with Escape Plan. And I gotta be honest, folks. In the process of trying to record this review, like I have had multiple takes already where I got into a coughing fit that was so bad I had to stop recording. There are other instances where I kept getting something stuck in my throat. and so I had to stop to get the phlegm out, clear my throat. It's like the film is so bad and so shitty that it makes all kinds of things want to escape from my body. My soul might be next, because my soul might be like, fuck this shit. I don't want to be around this fucking movie anymore. See ya. Sayonara. But yeah, god damn. And it's also one of those films that you forget about, like almost immediately after it's over. I don't even remember 98% of this fucking movie. And I only saw it like a few days ago. It's not like it's been weeks since I saw this film last. So Breslin decides to go to some other fucking prison compound known as the Devil Station in Latvia to try to break out Daya, and there is a few other bits of lame action, and there's like a fight in the climax between Stallone and Devon Sawa. And for some reason, Stallone's character goes into a fucking lecture about his father, and like, my father taught me discipline or did whatever, and I'm kind of like, what is this all about? Is this like, my father, he used to beat the shit out of me? You're like, what the fuck? The hell does this have to do with anything? My father used to beat the shit out of me, and now I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. To teach you a lesson, you son of a bitch. You're just like, what are you gonna do? Spank him? What the fuck is this? Is Stallone gonna take off his belt and whip Devon Sawa in the ass? What? My father used to beat the shit. The fuck out of here. Oh, there's a scene too in this movie where one of the, I think it's the love interest character for Daya, who looks like a K-pop band member, he's trying to hack into some computer or some shit, and the failsafe that pops up is a fucking cartoon middle finger. I'm not kidding. It's a cartoon middle finger. It's like a yellow cartoon middle finger just rotating around on the screen. It's just like, fuck you. You decided to watch Escape Plan 3. You're fucked. No entertainment here. No action. No intrigue. No nothing. So yeah, it ends pretty much how you think it would. They save Daya. Some people die along the way, but you don't ever give a shit. Stallone shoots some people. I think he kills a guy with a pipe or something, stabs him with it. Beats the shit out of Devon Sawa's character, kills him, and he gets some assistance from Bautista, because he was in the last movie, and Bautista shows up and fires a big gun, but it doesn't have any real power behind it because it's obviously fake and CGI. So they save the day, and then his character decides to call it a day, and then the movie is over, and then you're like, all right, now I can fucking move on to much better things and much better uses of my time than this bullshit. I, So, script, like I said, sucks. Does nothing to keep you invested. There's nothing of any real intrigue here. It's not compelling. It's not there's funny. It's not fun. It's not enjoyable. It's this story sucks. It meanders around and it goes nowhere except down the fucking drain. And then the cast, I mean, Stallone easily Some of his worst roles is in these escape plan sequels, because you almost think it almost looks like Stallone himself wants to escape the set, and you can't blame him. Bautista just completely sleepwalking through this role as Trent. 50 Cent delivering yet another wonderful, marvelous 50 Cent worth performance. Max Zhang, Harry Shum Jr., Malese Jow, all awful actors. They don't have any chemistry. They don't have any screen presence. I don't know why they're in this movie, other than the fact that, oh, we need to get the Asian audience, so here's these Asian actors. Who cares if they can act? And Daniel Bernhardt is also in this as one of Lester's henchmen, but he's completely wasted. There's not much to his character or not much to any of the scenes that he's in. I think he gets his ass kicked by Bautista in one scene. And then when it comes to the other technical aspects, I mean, it's just really, really bad. I mean, you've got a score that sounds like something you would hear on the Lifetime channel. Like, this score is unbelievable levels of bad. It's so unbelievably bad, I couldn't even say unbelievable properly. Like, if you've seen this film, you know what I'm talking about. This score is really awful. Honestly, one of the shittier scores I've heard in a while. And the cinematography by Jacques Jouffret. Come on, man. Piss yellow. Everything looks like it was shot for no money. The editing by Sean Albertson was annoying and just atrocious. I mean, there are scenes here where there's cuts that don't really make any sense, or cuts that just don't really help matters. Like, there's a fight, like the fight scene between Bautista and Daniel Bernhardt. It seems like it's trying to edit it in a way where it makes it more exciting. But just like the editing did a piss poor job covering up the fact that most of the cast can't fight, it makes things look awkward. So there's so the end of that fight between those two, Bautista does some move that's supposed to like break Bernhardt's neck with like a suplex or some shit onto a pipe. But the way that it's shot and the way that it's edited, it's just very awkward and it doesn't look natural and it sucks. And for a film that was 96 minutes, it felt like 296 minutes because I do not care one bit about anything. It was torture because it was just so fucking boring and pointless. And it cost $3.6 million. Where the fuck did that money go? It had to have gone to Bautista and Stallone. Because it definitely isn't on the screen. Probably went to Bautista, Stallone, and Devon Sawa. Because those were the main big names that they had in the cast. Because there wasn't anyone else. Could have donated that to charity. There are plenty of things that you could have done that would have been a better use of the money than this. $3.6 million? That's more money than I'm probably ever going to see in my life. And that was the budget of this direct-to-video disaster. I really don't have anything else to say about Escape Plan 3, The Extractors, other than the subtitle, The Extractors, is rather fitting. Because the film is so bad, so boring, so useless, and such a painful film to sit through. It's like somebody is pulling all of your teeth out of your fucking head with no anesthesia while another guy is pissing in your eyeballs. Stallone, stop it! Get some fucking standards again! For fuck's sake! God damn it!